What's going on, guys? T-Mart here, and welcome to the first episode of Exo Ability Analysis. The series we're going to break down all the Exo abilities in the game, showing you guys everything you need to know. Now, in this episode, we're going to be taking a look at the Cloaking Exo ability. Yes, that's right. Today, we are going invisible, so let's talk about this bad boy. So, first and foremost, the base kind of like effect of this Exo ability without any perk influencers or anything like that is that it takes 1.7 seconds to activate. So once you press the LB button or the L1 button, it takes 1.7 seconds before you go completely invisible, and it lasts for about 9.5 seconds. You know, we could round that up to 10 if you guys like. So yeah, 1.7 to activate, 10 seconds of invisibility. It's going to stay activated as you move around, boost jump, mantle things, you know, do all that kind of stuff. But the second that you attempt to do damage, like, you know, shoot, melee, throw grenades, anything like that, your exosuit is going to deactivate this ability and you're going to go back to being able to be seen. So you got to keep that in mind. You can't run around invisible and be randomly shooting people and nobody's going to know where you're at. It's going to deactivate as soon as you try to do any damage. Now, there are a couple of perks that will influence this exo ability to make it a bit stronger. Number one is Overcharged. If you put Overcharged on your cloaking class, it will last for 12 seconds instead of 9.5, which really doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but if you think about it, that's about a 25% increase, which is actually a pretty big boost. So if you guys really want to stay stealthy and stay low profile, that might be a good way to go. Now, the second perk that affects the Cloaking Exo ability is Fast Hands, and this allows to activate it in only 1.3 seconds rather than 1.7. So if you're somebody that runs around and is constantly, you know, kind of like turning it on and turning it off, kind of like the sniper is right here, that might be something good for you, but for the most part, I don't really think that one's all that worth it. It's not really that big of a deal, and typically when you're entering the kind of like, you know, invisible mode, you're in cover because you want to move from cover to cover while you're in that mode. So Fast Hands, I don't think is really that effective. Now, as for the effectiveness of this invisibility, how useful is it? How good is it? I think it's just right. So you can see this gameplay right here. A cloaked person can still be seen, but really only if you're paying close attention. Like if you're tunnel visioned and focusing on like an objective or an enemy off in the distance or something like that, or you're just kind of like blanking out and you're not really paying attention to what's going on your screen, they're gonna slip by you most of the time. And like, I'm sure if you guys are playing the game, you've kind of, you know, witnessed this a few times. Sometimes they'll catch your eyes, sometimes they won't. But, you know, a lot of times you will be able to sneak by people with this Exo ability as long as you're not right in the center of their screen, which is good. You know, being able to be stealthy and move around the map like that, that's the point of this Exo ability, and it's good that it works. Now, is it overpowered? Absolutely not. This thing is absolutely balanced, and honestly, I think it's one of the worst Exo abilities out there. Why? A, it doesn't last very long. Even with the Overcharged perk, you only get it for 12 seconds, which is really not that much time. I mean, even if you're turning it off and on, to move from cover to cover, it usually takes like at least 4 to 6 seconds to move from one area to the next. So you get, what, 2 uses per life? That's insane. And once you're out of those 10 to 12 seconds, you can't use it again until you die. So it doesn't last very long. That's the first reason why it's balanced. Second of all, you can still be seen. Like, it's not like you're completely invisible. That, my friends, would be overpowered. So you can still be seen. If people are paying attention, they're going to see you, especially when you're boost jumping. The cloak does not affect the rockets on your back. So when you boost jump with this cloak on, you're going to see, like, enemies are going to see, like, these giant flames flying through the air. So you got to be careful about that. You got to keep that in mind. Like, if you're in the cloak mode, try to be a little bit more stealthy. Use the ladder. Use the stairs. Don't boost jump. And then finally, the last reason why I think it's very balanced is the activation and deactivation time. Like I said, it nearly takes 2 seconds to activate without that Fast Hands perk, which is a really long time to have your gun down. When you're activating this thing, you put your gun completely down, you lift up your arm, you press the button on your little iPad on your arm, and then you bring your gun back up. Being without a gun for nearly 2 seconds just to activate or deactivate this thing is a huge deal. And oftentimes, I will run around the corner into people trying to go into invisible mode, and I'll just, you know, have a free kill because they can't shoot back. So that's another reason why I think it's pretty balanced. Yeah, I don't think it's overpowered at all. So, yeah, there you guys have it. That, my friends, is the Cloak Exo ability in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. It's definitely a good perk if you're trying to be sneaky, if you want to go for those sneaky caps, those sneaky plants, that sort of thing. But for, you know, typical gameplay, I would say there are better Exo abilities out there. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Make sure you guys check out these 2 videos on screen if you haven't seen them yet. I got a bunch of great Advanced Warfare videos coming later today, next day after that, and for the rest of the freaking eternity. So, I hope you guys keep checking back. Thank you guys. Peace out.